Britain, a nation built on tradition, where power is balanced between Parliament and the Crown, or at least it was. Because right now, the quiet equilibrium that's held for centuries is cracking, and at the center of the storm, Prime Minister Keir Starmer. It began with what seemed like a polite diplomatic gesture, an invitation slipped into the hands of Donald Trump, a royal invite meant for the privacy of Balmoral. But Starmer didn't deliver it behind closed doors. He handed it over, in the White House, in front of cameras. For King Charles, it wasn't just bad form, it was personal. This was meant to be a cautious move, one the king himself was hesitant about. After all, Trump had already joked about turning Canada into America's 51st state. And Charles isn't just King of Britain. He's King of Canada, too. Inside the palace, the mood shifted. Starmer's choice wasn't a misunderstanding. It was calculated. He knew the optics. He knew the history. And he did it anyway. What followed was bigger than a royal snub. Starmer started moving fast, pushing constitutional reforms, changing how laws are approved, and even shaking up the House of Lords, without the quiet nod of royal consent that's been respected for generations. Legally, he's in the clear. Politically, it's a grenade, tossed straight at one of Britain's oldest institutions. For centuries, royal assent has been more than a formality. It's been a ritual, symbolizing continuity, unity, stability. Starmer just tore up the script. To some, it's bold modernization. To others, it's a slow-motion coup. And into that tension steps Reform UK. Once dismissed as fringe, they now have a rallying cry. Defend British heritage before it disappears. Farage is back, feeding off public anger, nostalgia, and the fear that something sacred is slipping away. In towns that have voted the same way for decades, loyalties are shifting. Labour's grip is weakening. The Conservatives are bleeding support. Reform is surging in the polls. The strategy is simple. Frame Starmer as the man dismantling Britain's identity, and present themselves as the last line of defense. And it's working. Inside Buckingham Palace, the silence is deafening. Charles won't speak publicly. He can't. But behind closed doors, aides are scrambling. A discreet meeting between King and Prime Minister is rumored. Not a clash, but a quiet attempt to restore balance. But here's the trap. If Charles pushes back too hard, he'll be accused of meddling. If he says nothing, critics will call it surrender. Meanwhile, Labour is showing cracks. Some MPs are uneasy. Others are openly warning that alienating the monarchy could cost them power. Even within Starmer's own party, patience is wearing thin. The Prime Minister insists his reforms strengthen democracy. But on the streets, it feels like something else entirely, like traditions are being bulldozed, while the public watches from the sidelines. In markets and pubs, the talk isn't about constitutional nuance. It's about pride, identity, the feeling that Westminster's tearing up, the old Britain without asking, and the rest of the world is watching. In Canada, Australia, across the Commonwealth, questions are rising. Is Britain drifting toward republicanism? Is the crown losing its place? Even investors are paying attention, because markets love stability, and this feels like anything but. This was supposed to be Starmer's clean break from the past. Instead, it's turning into a fracture line, splitting Parliament, the Palace, and the people. And through that fracture, Reform UK is charging. Britain is now in a three-way standoff, a government pushing change, a monarchy trying to hold its ground, and a rising populist force promising to defend the old order. One wrong move, and the country won't just be rewriting laws, it could be rewriting its entire identity.